Manchester United are going big in the transfer market, and from the recent reports of Carlos Baleba coming to Man United, and Benjamin Sesko choosing them over Newcastle United, me as a United fan, it has baffled my mind, and I bet yours as a football fan is probably even more baffling. You see, sit with me with a second, and to anybody else that's in my content, welcome. I know it's a bit different from my usual style, but I want to talk quickly about Carlos Baleba and just Man United's whole summer. Okay, to give y'all a quick rundown. Okay, Manchester United last year in the English Premier League, we finished 15th, right? And me as a United fan, right, I'm over here sitting, I'm over here watching, I'm just like complaining. Not really complaining, I'm more getting used to the fact of how trash we were, because back in the day, our manager, greatest manager of all time, Sir Alex Ferguson, he won us plenty of Premier Leagues, plenty of Champions Leagues, and in 2013 he retired. And from that day forward, we started falling off as a club. We went from competing with Real Madrid, Barcelona, and now we're competing with Burnley. We're competing with Everton. And people thought that we was at that level, that we were down there. But I can prove to you guys that we are actually a bigger level, and we are that big club that we've always promised. So first I want to talk about our recent transfer negotiations. Our first transfer this summer was Mateus Cunha. It was about 60 million. His release clause really easy, just go straight in there. He wanted to join the club, so it was just really easy for us to just get him. Same thing with Mbumo. There were multiple teams, Newcastle, Arsenal, Liverpool, I think we're in for him. There were just multiple big teams that were just going in for him, and the bald-headed man chose us. He chose Man United. And that difference is going to be key for the reason Manchester United is making these decisions. If you watch me get on to Sesko now, Sesko, same thing almost, Newcastle went in for him first. They launched a 70 million bid for him, I think. And there were murmurs going in, who's deciding. There were rumors about a big team clause. If a big team came in for him, it would be cheaper, blah, blah, blah. Bunch of BS. We all saw David Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano say something, right? But the key goal that got Man United over the line, or Man United in that deal, was they said this. They said that, look, we're not going in until we see a sign. We're not bidding until Sesko says he wants to join us, play for us. And what happened? Sesko chose us. He decided, I want to go to Manchester United. And what happened? Today, Newcastle fans are pulling their hair out. They're going crazy. Because why? How can a player of this caliber choose Manchester United over a team that's in 4th place? A team that's in 4th place. I'm pretty sure that's where they ended off on. But anyways, how can they choose a team over 4th place and 15th place? Well, it doesn't make no sense. Well, let me give you a quick little fact. Man United have been in I think about 5 finals in 5 years. We've been in the Carabao Cup finals. We've been in some FA Cup finals. The Europa League finals, sadly, we lost. We won a few of them. We won a couple of them. Newcastle haven't really won much trophies, man. And that's the key goal. We're still... We have that history, sure, but we also have that recency. We have that recency of being a turbulent team, but being a consistent team that wants to win big trophies. Trophies that other teams, quite frankly, can't win. And look, I don't want to give no diss. I know I'm being a little bit, a little cocky here, but if we're dropping it down a level, I respect what's going on. Newcastle just can't get a single signing over the line, have they? This entire summer, they just been bidding, and nothing's been happening. And I guess I want to speculate as to why, but for Man United's sake, the key factor was another player wanted to join. Another player decided that this was the team, this was the vision. And what's the vision, you ask? Project 150. Now, you might have heard of this. If you haven't, let me just give you a quick rundown. Our club owners, Ineos, it's owned by a big guy called Sir Jim Ratcliffe. He's an old-fashioned, Man United fan. He grew up, I think, a few miles away from the stadium. And I believe it's been a rocky couple first years for him ever since he's gotten partial ownership of the club. It's been just really weird with the Glazers. They've been tearing up our financial structure. We are tremendous debt. That's why they had to get backing from a different buyer. So that's when Ineos stepped in and they decided, yeah, let's help them out a bit. Let's give them that financial push. But I like what they're doing now that they have control over the football operations. I think they have the club's best in mind. They want to do what's best for the heritage and for the fans. And I know the recent redundancies, the recent cuts are honestly quite sad and frankly not acceptable to the degree that I went to. But it's understandable in the fact of what they believe they had to do. And I believe they're playing a very harsh and very business numbers game. That's how they're getting their business done. That's how they want to complete their goal, which the goal is Project 150. Project 150 is, Manchester United's 150th anniversary, which I believe is in 2029. That's when I believe that they want to win the Premier League. They want to bring us back to where Man United deserve to be. English champions, the best in the league. The best team in the world. That's where, frankly, that Man United deserves to be. Sure, they've fallen off. Sure, they've, quite frankly, not deserved to be there, but that doesn't mean they can't get there. I believe now they can, especially with the club's vision. Their recent hires for staff. Christopher Vivell, he's our head of recruitment. My fault. He's our head of recruitment. He's a really intelligent guy who was in the Red Bull system, and that's how he actually got in touch with Seshko. Seshko, he already knew Christopher Vivell. He already knew him, and so he already had that established relationship. So whenever a guy gives you something that you can fight for, something that you agree with, then I'm pretty sure it was easy for Seshko. It was easy for him to make that decision. And imagine this: last year, our two cams and our striker it was freaking. It was Bruno Fernandes, which is my GOAT, so no disrespect to him. But it was him, Mason Mount, and Xerxes, Hoyland. So you can see how bad we've had it. We've struggled with these inconsistent players who don't really want to fight for the badge, who maybe enjoy the team but don't really have that, that effort, that drive, that skill, that genuine world-class ability. And this new Manchester United that's coming out, our starting 11 is going to look great. We're going to sign honestly, this new goalkeeper. I've heard talks about Donnarumma. Don't really think so. I've heard about Martinez from Everton. I don't know if he's the right fit. But any goalkeeper that would come in, honestly, would be better than Onana. And then we're going to have Lenny Yoro, maybe Aiden Heaven, or Martinez if he comes back from injury, Delict. With our Dorgu's been doing great in preseason. On the right, we'd be doing Ahmad, and in the middle, we'd probably be doing Baleba. Baleba Bruno? I have no idea. Baleba Manu? Let me know down in the comments who you think is going to be in the center mids, bro. What would Man United starting 11 be? But yeah, whoever you want in the midfield, my two cams would probably be Bruno Cunha, or no, actually it'd have to be Bruno in the midfield with Baleba, and then Mbumo, Cunha, Seshko. Honestly, that's a team that more than good enough for top 4. And my prediction is Man United should be top 4 next season. Look out for us. We're going to be a big team. So I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you like this style of content, let me know down below. Leave a like, leave a subscribe, bro. I know it's been a while, but I'm here. I'm rejuvenated, but I've been a little sick. I want to do more, and I promise you guys I will do that. So I hope you're having a good morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever y'all doing. Anyways, y'all, hope you have a good one. So peace.